Yatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswaha Yatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gati Bodhiswaha Yatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhiswaha Yatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswaha Yatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhiswaha. Okay, now the second essential and the third essential. Second and third essential. For that, we need to learn what is known as the ultimate analysis and conventional analysis. We need to learn what is ultimate analysis and what is conventional analysis. The two kinds of analysis, ultimate analysis and conventional analysis. Okay. Conventional analysis in any kind of inquiry analysis which the ordinary world does. Any analysis or inquiry which the ordinary world, the world does. For example, say if we are looking for one person, say by the name, let's say okay, let's say Sonamla, right? So say somebody comes to inquire, where is Sonamla? Is there Sonamla here in this, what is that? The Rumakito? Sonamla, is he in Rumakito, right? Then you say, yes, he is here. Okay, so what is that first person doing? The first person is inquiring Sonamla where he is. You agree with me or not? So this inquiry, is it acceptable in the conventional world? And that is acceptable. Then finally, say Arjun there, Arjun brought that person who is inquiring Sonamla into this. And then you say, where is Sonamla? Then you say, he is here in this hall. This analysis, is it in line with the conventional or the, say, how the ordinary world still analyzes? Yes. Okay. Then you say, tell me where exactly he is. Then John La will say that he's there. Is that still the correct analysis, correct kind of inquiry, which the world will consider as valid? Yes. Now after seeing Sonamla, then the person comes close to Sonamla and asks, where is Sonamla? Is his ear the Sonamla? Is his the body the Sonamla? Is his mind the Sonamla? Then what happens to Sonamla? Sonamla disappears, right? And fortunately, John La has already some exposure to philosophy. Otherwise, he'd get lost. Right? Now I have no answer. Okay, this analysis this analysis, is this something which is ordinarily accepted as a proper inquiry? Yes, no. Okay. Now we see that analysis, we go into various analyses are there, that many of these analyses fall under the category of what the conventional world will accept as a good analysis. And then when you cross a certain point, then that is what the analysis will not accept. Conventional world will not accept as analysis, nor the conventional world can disprove that. Same when say, where is he? Is he the heart, lung, the mind, the body like this? Then this conventional analysis has no answer, right? It cannot disprove that is wrong, but this is not within their range, right? For example, if you are a shopkeeper with the biscuits, juice, and all these things there, you're sorting out things. You buy all the things, then you're putting them in the proper shelves. So you're sorting them out. The juice, you keep them separate. The biscuits, you keep them separate. Chocolate, you keep separate. You are sorting them out, right? And then finally you said that I've already sorted them out fully. And the chemist comes, where is the H2O? Where's hydrogen? Where is carbon dioxide? Then you have no idea, right? So which means that within what you are working there, you don't need to understand what is carbon, what is carbon, what is hydrogen, what is oxygen. You don't need to know all these things. As long as you know what exactly is biscuit, what exactly is chocolate, what is juice, this is good enough for your job, right? So now let's say, who knows the wooden table the most? Who knows the best wooden table? The carpenters. And carpenters may not be philosophers, right? Okay. So you say that there's a best carpenter who is versed in philosophy, who has no clue of philosophy, right? Who is just sick of philosophy, and he's the best of the carpenter. Okay. So I will have so many questions about the table, wooden table. And you can ask this gentleman, he's the world number one carpenter, so he can give you all the information. There's no other person who's better than him, right? Then you say, what is the best design of the wooden table? The carpenter will very proudly tell you that the one with the animal's paw at the base, with right at the leg. So that is one which is the best design. Now it sells so good. Okay, so then what about the top design, or with the yellow border and the dark in the center? That is, I don't know, I'm just making it up. Okay, that is one, right? Okay, then say, okay, that's wonderful, it's amazing. So what should that be made of? That dark one made of what? Yellow one made of what? Dark one made of atoms. What kind of atoms? What kind of electrons, protons? He has no clue. Right? He cannot give the answer. Beyond this, he cannot give the answer. Yet, pertaining to the wooden table, he is the best person in the world. But you reach certain level of analysis up to which he could give good answers. Then, when you reach a certain point, he cannot give any answer. So, this yellow part of the wood is made of what is the configuration of the electrons there, protons there? Because these are both equally wood. One is yellow, one is red. Why the difference? It must be difference in the molecular configuration. What is the configuration of molecule in this case? In that case, no answer. So which means that you have crossed the border of the analysis of the carpenters. You have crossed the border of the convention of the carpenters. The carpenters will not give any answer beyond that point. You're getting it? Okay, now the analysis is of two kinds. One which is accepted by the conventions, by the world as a good analysis, and another analysis which the world cannot reject, but the world cannot give answer. Ordinary world cannot give answer. You're getting it? For example, let's say the flower, right? The flower. Hey, where's the flower? It's in your hand. It's in your hand. Oh, this flower, yes. Oh, where's the flower? This one. The petal. You just touch each of this petal. right? And what is inside? Stigma, and what do you call that? Anther. Huh? Okay, so we have no botanists here. Okay, let's say none of this is. Where's the flower? Where's the flower? The color is the flower. The shape is flower, or inside the flower. Then what happens? The flower disappears. Then the concept of the flower disappears. You're getting it? Where's the table? Is in front of you. That's fine. Beyond this, if you go, the table will disappear, right? So table will remain. The concept of the table holds true till you go to a certain extent of analysis. Beyond this, if you analyze, then the whole table will disappear, right? Concept of the table will make no sense. Say, where's the table? Oh, where's the table? It's in front of you. Fine. Which one? The top length, the legs, and the screw, the nail. Which part is the table? Then the whole table will disappear. If you analyze like this, you will never find the table forever in your life. You will never find a table. You're getting it? So, where's the table? It's right in front of you. You can go up to this point. Seeing the table, and if you still ask, where's the table? The top line is the table like this, then you have already crossed the border of what a table is. You're getting it? Analysis which crosses the border of what a table is, that is the ultimate analysis. The analysis which does not cross, which is beyond, which is within the border of the conventionality of the table, that is known as conventional analysis of the table. Right? Okay, let's say, where is the table? Oh, it's right in front of you. This is conventional analysis or ultimate analysis? Conventional analysis. Oh, where's the table? It's in front of you. Which one? Top line, legs, which part? This is ultimate analysis, right? Okay. So likewise, hey, where are you? I'm here, right? So say attendance, right? Okay. Where is Vishen? I'm there. Okay. Where's June? I'm there. So this is ultimate analysis, conventional analysis? Conventional analysis. Oh, the vision. Which is vision? Your eyeglass, your eyes, your hands, your heart like this, then vision will disappear. Right? That is ultimate analysis or conventional analysis? Ultimate analysis. Okay. Now, if somebody asks you, analysis is of two kinds. One is conventional and one is ultimate. And what is ultimate analysis? What is conventional analysis? Can you figure out what they are? Good. Now my question to you is, okay, I'm holding this object. Through conventional analysis, what will I find? When I'm looking for this object, through conventional analysis, what will I find? I find a flower. Through ultimate analysis, what will I find? The flower will disappear, right? The flower will disappear. The flower is empty. You find the absence of the flower, the emptiness of the flower. You're getting it? Okay. Now, say, this rosary, if you subject this to ultimate analysis, if this rosary is subjected to conventional analysis, what will you find? We'll find a rosary. If you subject this to ultimate analysis, what will we find? Absence of the rosary, right? Okay, absence of the rosary. Emptiness of the rosary will be found. Okay. Now, we see that any object when subjected to ultimate analysis, what will we find? We'll find the emptiness of that object. You're getting it? We'll find the emptiness of that object. Okay. Now, how do we subject a particular object to ultimate analysis? Okay, this is what we're going to do. Now, okay, I think maybe this evening, whenever the NASA company today, so there is the short documentary film on the NASA company's the projection of the macro world, the analysis of a leaf, of a leaf, just a foliage from the bush somewhere in America. And there's another one which is also the hand, with the hand. This is also done there. So there, now it is going into the ultimate analysis. Going there, what happens is that initially, what do you see here? This one. What do you see this? A leaf. As a leaf. Now, what it does is that it goes into, through electron microscope, it goes into the leaf. And then initially you see that, so for the time when you look at it, it's so beautiful. It's a little shiny, right? Do you see this shiny? From distance you may not see this, but the close ones you can see it's a little shiny, it's very tender, nice. When you subject it to the under electron microscope, we see that it's initially it's very hairy, and not at all attractive. Then slowly it becomes very cracky. It's not as smooth, very cracky. So likewise, it was done with the hand. Same thing was done with the hand. Both are available. I don't know what Venla has. You have both? Okay. So with the hand, very cracky. And then slowly zoom in more. Then what happens is that the cells, partitions of the cell membranes are visible. Then the nucleus becomes visible. Then cytoplasm becomes visible, right? And then to further going in, then the chromosomes are visible. Okay, now tell me, as you go in, when will you find the hand now? Keep going like this. When will you find the hand? No, the hand, you will never find the hand. Hand disappears. You're getting it? So this analysis is ultimate analysis or conventional analysis? Ultimate analysis. Very good. Okay. With the ultimate analysis of this flower, what you will find? You will find the emptiness of flower. With the ultimate analysis of the human being, what do you find? You find the emptiness of the human being. Okay. Now with this ultimate analysis, you go into ultimate analysis. You see that with the ultimate analysis, what are you looking for actually? Ultimate analysis. Analysis of what? Analysis of the ultimate. Right? Analysis of the ultimate. What do you mean by analysis of ultimate? Okay, ultimate means objective. Objective. Right? Ultimate means objective. We have the synonyms. Objective existence, ultimate existence, true existence, right? So ultimate and objective has this connotation. Okay. Ultimate analysis means objective analysis, which means that you are looking for the object objectively. Okay. This is very important. Let me share with you. Say, for example, recently Tibet House, we conducted number of interviews, job interviews. We conducted number of job interviews in Tibet House. Okay, let's say you are the university vice chancellor, and you are recruiting professors, physics professors, right? And some of you may be wondering why he's always talking about physics, right? Because when I was in school, particularly class 9, 10, 11, 12, for 4 years, I was so interested in physics to the extent that I was thinking of becoming a physicist. Even after that, I was constantly in touch with physics. Okay, for this reason, right? And don't ask me what made you eventually become a monk. Why not a physicist? Don't ask me this question. It's a very long the answer. Okay, so with this, say you want to recruit a physics professor, and there are several candidates coming there, and you and your the colleagues are there, the physics professors are there, and then the first question you ask, what is the Albert Einstein's very popular equation? And then the candidate was struggling, right? And say you are the vice chancellor, and then Venla is one of the physics professors, and Venla said, "Oh, Darshi, you know that. You were last year you were teaching your students E equals mc square." "Oh yes, sir, E equals mc square is Albert equation." "Are you happy or not?" This answer is coming from me or from Venla? Not from me, not from the object. The answer is not coming from the object, it's coming from the panels, from the panelist, right? Panelists represent the subject, and I represent the object. I should give, they are testing my knowledge. Now they are not testing Vena's knowledge. Right? So you are very unhappy that this is not your answer. Your meaning, object. You are the object. It's not coming from the object. Okay. And he wants to check the knowledge of the object or the knowledge of the panelist. Knowledge of the object, the candidate, right? Applicant. Then you ask, how many electrons are there with the oxygen atom? Then I'm struggling. And then say, Ridala says that, oh, poor Dorji, don't philosophize. You think that you're a philosopher. Last time you were telling 16 electrons. Oh, 16 electrons. Right? Are you happy? No. Answer is coming not from the object, it's coming from the subject. Right? So you are looking for the answer from the subject. You are looking for the degree of the knowledge of the object or the subject? Of the object. How much this person knows. This is what you are checking, right? Then you become very angry. Then what you said? You want all the panelists. If anyone utters a word, if any of the panelists utters a word, I will disqualify Dorji. That's right. Then he asks, what is the number of electrons of hydrogen atom? Then nobody speaks. Anybody speaks, I'll be disqualified, right? So now it's coming from if something comes, it comes from the object, okay, right? Then I have no clue. I said, I'm sorry. So what is the knowledge coming from the object? Is zero. You're getting it? Knowledge coming from the object is zero. And you are checking what? You are checking whether I know physics, right? Whether the object knows physics. And what you come to realize, that the person does not know any physics. You're getting it? Likewise, say you want to analyze whether the flower exists from the object or from the subject. From the object or from the subject. Subject means convention, object means ultimate. Right? Subject means convention, object means ultimate. Okay, this also we need to know. Why the subject is known as convention, why the object is known as the ultimate. This also we need to know. Let's say you drive in the street. Okay, by the way, in Singapore, which is the correct lane? Right or left lane? Huh? Left is correct. Okay. My question is, which of the two lanes, the right or the left, which of the two lanes is correct? Last time very recently when I was in Singapore, somebody said right, and then I said right. So now I'm saying left. Singapore is confused. Okay, which is correct? I know it is left. Indian and the Singaporean same. They're following the British rule. British the system, right? Okay, left lane. Now let's say that you're driving on the right lane. You're driving the right lane, you came from America. You drive on the right lane. And the traffic police stopped you. Right? You're on the wrong lane. Then I would say, no, I'm on the correct lane. And the traffic police says, no, you're on the wrong lane. Okay, who decided? The road tells me the road is the object and people are the subject. Yes, no? Road is the object and people are the subject. People have the mind. Road does not have mind. People have the mind, they are the subject, and the road is the object. The road tells me that you are on the wrong lane, or the people tell me that you are on the wrong lane. Who tells me? People tell me that I'm on the wrong lane. People is what? Subject. And the road is the object. Road will never say, even if you drive on the right, left, whatever for the road, it doesn't matter. For the road, it doesn't care wherever you drive. But the people do care. You're getting it? So now let's say that how are you saying that the right lane is correct? Tell me. Hey, Singaporeans. No, left lane is correct. How can you say that the left lane is correct? How can you say this? The road did not say this. Road is not telling me. And how can you say that? And you are not the road. And how can you say that the left lane is correct? Tell me. Huh? It is the law. It's the law. And who made the law? People, how did they make the law? say 2,000 years, 100,000, no, 1,000 years ago, very likely 1,100 years ago, there was no traffic rule. Very likely, no traffic rules. Anybody can go anywhere. All are correct. And then, why the traffic rule came into being? How it came into being, tell me. That the number of the people, the number of the cars start to increase. And everybody wants to go first. So if you get stuck at the crossroad, and nobody is willing to back. And if you back, there's another car behind you who also wants to go first. Everybody gets stuck there. Then the government, right? Oh, we have to have some rules so that the traffic doesn't get stuck there. Right? Okay. Once I was so fascinated, I saw a very old picture of the Tibet car in Tibet, right? Which belonged to His Holiness the 13th Dalai Lama. Right? And somebody was posing himself in front of the car, and the car number said Tibet 3. That's the number. Tibet, because there are only 3 cars. Tibet 3. Right? So beautiful. So that car, you don't have to worry about the traffic. Right? You can drive anywhere. There's no rules. Now, because of this complication, the rule has to be made. And who made the rule? People or the road? People made the rule. How the people made the rule? By saying that, okay, everybody should, if everybody drives on the, say, those who are going to, what is the Singapore's what's the capital line? What is Singapore, the main, Malay? No. See, the parliament, where's the Singapore parliament? City Hall. That's same. Okay, when you drive to City Hall, you have to drive to left. When you drive away from City Hall, drive to right. Somebody says like this. Oh, no, it can create problem, right? It can create problem. So somebody thinks like when you go towards the city, then you drive left. Coming out from city, so therefore the complexity is not going to be there. And then people drive. Again, people get stuck there, right? So why? Okay, that's wrong. So everybody has to drive always the left lane. Okay, then the even convention were improvised. And finally, everybody has to drive on the left lane. The left lane is correct and the right lane is wrong, right? So who decided? People decided. People's mind decided. So people's mind it is what? Now it has become convention. Driving on the left side is correct. Driving on the right lane is wrong. This becomes a convention. You're getting it? It becomes a convention. Okay, switch. Put the bottom, press it, switch on or off. Bottom and the top, there are two. You press the bottom, switch on or off. On. Top, off. In America, it's the opposite. Right? Top is off and bottom is what? On. In America is off. Now you forgot it. What is the bottom? On. Okay, in America it's off. Right? Why in Singapore the bottom is off? Why in Singapore it is bottom? Why the British the bottom is off? Why? Why in British the bottom is off? Why? Why should it be off? Because it is a convention. You getting it? This is so important. And then convention is nothing but the representation of the people, the people's mind, subject. Convention is the subject. Now, subject, what's the opposite of subject? Object. What's the opposite of convention? Ultimate. Say, for example, the fire burns. Yes, no? The fire burns. Okay, in this world, fire is never cold. Fire is always hot. Yes, no? Even if we call that we unite to have a conference and we decide that fire should be cold, fire will never become cold, right? But if the influential people in Singapore, they decided, okay, henceforth we will change all the cars. All the cars should have the what? The steering? Which side? Huh? On the right side, right? On the right side, and all the cars should drive on the right lane. The moment with convention, with the conference, if you create new convention, the whole thing can be changed. But even if you have the conference of the biggest of the scientists, saying that from tomorrow onwards the fire is going to be cold, it will never become cold, right? Okay. So with this we see that the fire being hot is from the object. And that the right lane is correct, left lane is correct. This is purely convention. You're getting it? It's purely convention. Nothing is from the object as the right is correct, left is correct. It's purely convention. You're getting it? Okay. Now we see that convention, something is pure convention. Convention means coming from the subject. Now, subject as opposed to object. So, convention as opposed to ultimate. You're getting it? Convention as opposed to ultimate. Subject as opposed to object. Okay, with this mind, now analysis, conventional analysis, ultimate analysis, right? When you go to see the object, how do you see this flower? As objectively or as subjectively? Objectively existent. If it does exist objectively, then when we analyze, we have to analyze we have to resort to the ultimate analysis or the conventional analysis. If the flower exists objectively, what analysis should be employed? Ultimate analysis or conventional analysis? If it does exist objectively, then the analysis should be the objective analysis. What is objective analysis? Objective, ultimate analysis, these two are same. Which of the two analysis should be employed if the flower does exist objectively? Ultimate analysis, objective analysis? Ultimate analysis. So with the ultimate analysis, if you see that this flower exists objectively, and if it does exist objectively, then we have to subject the ultimate analysis to see whether it exists objectively, right? Okay. Whereas if it exists just subjectively, then which of the two analysis should you employ? Ultimate analysis or conventional analysis? Conventional analysis. Okay, very good. Now, when you see this flower how do you see this flower? Objectively or subjectively? Okay, pinch yourself a little bit, not too badly, a little bit to have some little pinch of a pain, to have a little bit of pain. Do it. Hey, do it. Make a little bit of pain, feel a little bit of pain. And don't do it to someone else. Do it to yourself, just feel it, just feel the pain. And see, okay, slowly, just intensify this slowly. And feel the pain. Where does it exist? Objectively, how does it appear to you? Objectively, or your mind is creating it? Just see it. Objectively, right? Okay. When you see the pain as objectively, then you see this as pain. When you see the pain as subjectively, the pain disappears. You're getting it? Okay, now with this, if the pain does exist objectively, if the flower does exist objectively, then we have to, as we go closer to the object, as we analyze closer to the object, this analysis is known as ultimate analysis. With ultimate analysis, we should be able to find that if it does exist objectively, right? Okay. Now let's go further to go towards the object. Going towards the object, like how the NASA committee will show you. What we do is that we first see the beautiful leaf, or say the beautiful hand side of the hand. You see this hand. It's very beautiful, right? Tender, nice. And then, right, where's your hand? It's here. Ultimate analysis, conventional analysis. Conventional analysis. Then you see the hand and you still go further. Which the first cell, the second cell, cytoplasm, the mitochondria, the chromosome, which is the hand. Then what happens? You are subjecting to ultimate analysis. You're getting it? Okay. Now, subjecting this, for example, this hand to ultimate analysis, what you do is that you go into deeper and deeper towards the object. Going deeper and deeper towards the object, what you find is that we start seeing the cells, right? Now, second thing, you will watch that, seeing the cells. You go further, what you will see? You will see the cell membrane, the nucleus. Going further, you will see the cytoplasm, the chromosomes inside. Okay, right? For the time being, stay there. Now tell me, what do you see now? What do you see now? I see the cell membrane, cytoplasm, chromosomes, mitochondria, and these are the parts of the cell. Then you go further. Even the chromosome is made of molecules. You go further, you see that even the molecule is made of atoms, right? Okay, now just stay there. Now tell me, what are you seeing? What are you seeing? You are seeing millions of atoms. Yes, no? You are seeing millions of atoms. Okay, don't forget it. Don't forget it. Okay, so these atoms that you are seeing, are they the parts of the flower? Are they the parts of the flower? They are different from the flower. They are the parts of the flower. You are getting it? So amongst the parts of the flower, which are the atoms, where is the flower? Where is the flower? Flower is empty. You are seeing the parts, but you are not seeing the flower. Right? So the flower that you're looking for is not one with the parts. None of the parts is the flower. None of the parts is the flower. You agree with me or not? What do you mean by parts here in this case? The atoms. None of the atom is the flower. You agree with me or not? If you know that none of the atoms, none of the parts of the flower is the flower, this is what you understand as flower as not one with its parts. Second essential, what is the second essential? Essential for understanding the emptiness of the objects. What is the object? The flower. Emptiness of the objects being one with this flower. What do you mean by objects? Emptiness of the objects being one with its parts. Right? What does it mean by emptiness of the objects being one with its part? One with its parts means that none of the parts is the flower. You getting it? When you know that none of the parts is the flower, you have already understood the second essential. Okay, how many of you know that when you zoom into the flower, you see the millions of atoms? How many of you are confident with this? Okay, this is bound to happen, right? Millions of atoms. Now, how many of you are confident that if I do see the individual atoms, I'm very confident that none of the atoms, none of the parts, none of the atoms is the flower. How many of you are confident with this? If you're confident with this, you already understood the second essential. Second essential, which says what? That emptiness of the objects being one with its parts, meaning that the object is not one with its parts. What does it mean by the object not being one with its parts? Means the parts are not the object. Parts are not the whole. Right? Parts are not the flower. Okay. When you see the flower in the form of the atoms, which of the atoms is the flower? None. Right? Which of the atoms is the flower? None. Which means that none of the parts of the flower is the flower. You understood this? When you know that none of the parts of the flower is the flower, you understood that the flower is empty of being one with its parts. Right? Okay. So the second essential says that understanding the essential of the emptiness of the objects being one with its parts. What do you understand? Okay, somebody tell me. What do you mean by emptiness of the objects? You relate the object with the flower. Emptiness of the flower being one with its parts. What do you understand by this? Anyone? That none of the parts is the flower. None of the parts of the flower is the flower. If you know this, this is what is meant by emptiness of the flower as being one with its parts. You getting it? Okay, good. Now, during the group discussion, what I would suggest is that you have to, particularly those who are already last Bali retreat here, then in the other retreats, other classes, what I would suggest is that particularly make sure that those who are more exposed to this, instead of going into the complicated discussions, debates, and so forth, start with the four essentials. First, let everyone say what the four essentials are. Once that is fine, then what do you understand by the first essential? Go one by one. And that is helpful for the individual, for each of us also. For me also, it helps me a lot. Although I've been repeating this so many times. For every retreat, I have to repeat this. Still, it helps me a lot. So when I'm in retreat, doing this kind of the classes, then during my meditation emptiness, it becomes clearer as compared to the other times, right? So therefore, everybody benefits out of going one by one. Don't jump to the most complicated things right from the beginning, and then you confuse yourself and you confuse the new beginners also, right? Okay, so and then once all these four essentials are done one by one, that is done, then you can go into the complications. That will be very helpful. Okay, with this, let's say, now we come to realize that the flower, when you zoom into the atoms on the atomic level, we see that the flower disappears. And none of the atom is the flower, right? None of the atoms which are the parts of the flower is a flower. So this understanding is known as essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being one with its parts. Okay, that part is done. Now the next, you are looking for what? You are looking for the atoms of the flower. What for you went into this analysis? To look for a flower or to look for the atoms? To look for flower, right? Because you are looking for the flower, atoms, with the atoms, the parts, you do not see the flower. So what you do is that you remove all the atoms which are not the flower. Remove all the atoms which are not the flower to see if the flower is different from the atoms. Atoms are the parts. To see if the flower is different from the parts. The parts are not the flower. You got it? You are still looking for the flower. You did not find it. Now remove all the atoms which are not the flower. Right? So you are actually looking for a flower which is different from the atoms. Right? Okay. Looking for, how can you look for a flower which is different from the atoms? How can you do this? How will you do this? By removing all the atoms aside. And then see where's the flower. What will you find? It is worse. Nothing is there then. Right? Nothing is there. Okay. So now tell me, how many of you have the confidence by removing all the atoms, removing all the parts aside, when you look for the flower, nothing will be left there as a flower. How many of you are confident with this? Very good. Which means that you know the third essential, that the flower is not different from the atoms. The flower is empty of being different from the parts. Parts meaning the atoms. Flower is empty of being different from parts. Okay. During the group discussion, particularly those who are more exposed to this, right? This is a great opportunity for you. Seems to be very simple, but very difficult to explain this. And particularly, how do you know whether you're able to explain this well or not? You have to see to the other person and listen to you. If the other person still sees as though like in hazy, like as though in like the lost, right? Which means that you are not successful, even though you think that you have understood it so well. Right? So you see how you can articulate it, right? Okay, how difficult it is. Okay. So, in fact, for me, I've been thinking of all different ways to make things easy, simple. If I say like this, I have to look at the face, right? If the face seems to be blank, again I have to look for some other ways, right? Okay. So now with this, if you're confident that by removing all the atoms, nothing will be left there. Are you sure that nothing will be left there by remove all the atoms? No flower, nothing is there. Are you sure? Okay, if you understand this, then you've understood that the flower is not different from its parts. The flower is empty of being different from its parts. You've understood this. Okay, now look. If with this you have understood essential number 3. Now what is the next essential? Essential number 4. What is essential number 4? Essential of understanding the pervasion, that anything which is empty of being one with and different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object, right? Okay, so what is meant by that? It's very simple, right? So what is meant by that? The words may be little, the verbose, don't worry. What it means is that now, if the flower does exist from the object, how many options are there? Only two options. Either the atom should be the flower, or remove the atoms, there should be the flower left there as separate from the atoms. Both are not true, right? Both are not true. From this, what can we conclude? We can conclude that from the object there is no flower. Can you conclude that? What do you, by going into the object, what do you see now? You see the atoms. You see the atoms. Atoms, what do you see? If there is something from the object, you have come too close towards the object. And if there is something from the object, what do you see now? You see the atoms. If the flower is from the, if the flower exists from the object, then what you really see is that they are the atoms. These atoms should be the flower, but none of the atoms is a flower, right? So you remove that. Atoms are, the parts are not one with the flower. Remove that. Now, different from the parts, removing the parts, different from the parts, is this a flower? No, these are the only two options. If the flower does exist from the object. Now, from the object, where's the flower? From the object, where's the flower? It's empty. You're getting it? From the flower, from the object, the flower is empty. Okay, so if you understand this, then you combine the two things. The atoms are not the flower, which means the flower is not one with its empty. No. The flower is empty of being one with its parts. Removing the atoms, the flower is not there. With this, what you have understood? That the flower is empty of being different from its parts. So combined together, you have understood that, then you conclude that from the object, there's no flower. You're getting it? From the object, there's no flower. Once you're able to make this conclusion, you have understood the fourth essential, meaning that essential to the pervasion. Pervasion, I'll tell you later. Pervasion, that anything which is anything means a flower, when it is empty of being one with its parts or empty of being different from its parts, entails. Entails means it what? It infers. It infers that the flower is empty of objective existence. The flower does not exist objectively. You're getting it? Okay. So these are the four essentials, right? Now what next? The conclusion. What is the conclusion? What's the conclusion? That even I don't want to do it. Conclusion is very complicated, huh? What's the conclusion? What? Emptiness of the objectification of objectivity is the objectivity of the object, right? Okay, this is very complicated. Okay, I think it's break time. Huh? Okay, we have 6 minutes more. Okay, what do you do now? Okay. Now let's say. So from this, right? From this, what we come to know is that we will now quickly pick this up. The picture of His Holiness, right? In fact, this is very precisely what you're doing here, right? And if you are, I don't know, if you are so keen, in fact, better than this picture would be the actual picture of this actual frame, which Tara has. The big one, about what size? 8 foot. Yeah, 8 by, something like 4 or 5. 4 or 5. 8 is a huge one. So if you look at this, then this becomes even more visible there, right? Okay. So if you look at this picture, you see that if you don't look at it very closely, you see the picture of His Holiness. If you see it very closely, you see that there are just thousands of tiny people. Thousands of tiny people are there, right? Tiny men are there, thousands of tiny men, including the eyes, the specs, the lips, the nose, the hands, the fingers. Everything is nothing but just made of these tiny people. But from distance, if you don't look at closely, from distance, you see this as the picture of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. You're getting it? And in fact, this is exactly what is with all of us. It's not just this picture. We are each one like this picture. Right? Okay, look at the other person. The other person. Okay, now still smiling. Which means that you are seeing from the distance. You are seeing the other person from the distance. If you see the person very closely, you will see the atoms. You will see the atoms. Literally, you will see the atoms. Where's the person? Person disappears. Okay, let's see. Now with this, usually, very creatively. Okay, there are several of this version. In fact, Tibet House, this book, which we're going to publish, have a formal publication very soon. So this book, we're thinking of attaching this one with the permission, in case if it is.
Already given permission.
Thank you. So and I should be little careful. I should check with you as well. I should discuss with Harala. So another one, there's no complication. There's another one which is also very powerful. Same, the picture of a very young boy, and then it is enlarged, then it splits into dots, which means we're nothing but made of the atoms. So this is also available there. So we are thinking of putting that also there. So now, imagine that, like this picture of His Holiness, say the picture of the Buddha, right? Picture of Buddha. And say the picture of Buddha is one of the systems has it that the pictures are made of dots. And now, the more developed, more developed version has it, the picture is made of pixels, right? One of the systems has it, the dots, made of dots. So therefore, it is known as DPI, dots per inch. Same, you have a picture of Buddha, just 1 inch by 1 inch. And a picture quite clear, made of 200 dots along the length, 200 dots along the breadth. Total 40,000 dots. Now, instead of the pixels system is slightly different. Now you enlarge this picture. Same, for the Bodhicitta retreat, we need a picture of Buddha, particularly particularly on the last day. So when goes to enlarge this picture, tiny picture, this is the only picture that you get. Then you enlarge this, 20 feet by 20 feet, huge. And the original version is 1 inch by 1 inch. Then what happens? The space between the dots will be enlarged, right? Dots become more visible, right? Okay, like this, the picture of His Holiness made of the people there. When you enlarge this, people become more visible. And even the distance between the people, they also become more visible. So the dots become more visible, 20 feet by 20 feet. Okay, now the developer creates it in such a way, develop it in such a way that the dots are made of the demon's face. Dots are made of the demon's face. Here is the people. Now dots are the demon's face. Okay. Now from 1 kilometer away, when you look at this picture, what will you see? You will see the picture of a Buddha. And close by, just look at the close by, what will you see? You will see the picture of a demons. Right? Okay, now group A, group B. Group A is 1 kilometer away from the picture. Group B next to the picture, next to the screen. So group A, from the distance, you are making prostrations. Buddham, Sharanam, Gacchami, making prostrations, right? And group B, just next to the screen, was so angry. What is this? What when are dead? Is all the demons there? Right? Cursing. And group A was so amazed. What is group B doing? Right? They're cursing the Buddha. Right? And group B, cursing the group A, what are they doing? They are prostrating to the demons. Right? Okay, who is correct and who is wrong? Both are correct. But two of them have two different perceptions. On the basis of two different perceptions, your emotions become different. Group A, the emotion is very devotional. Group B, the emotion is very upset, right? And then because of the difference in emotions, the actions coming out of that is very different. Group A is making prostrations and the voice, the word, speech-wise, Buddham, Charanam, Gachami, going there. And group B, what's the action? Just cursing, and then perhaps cursing when also, what did he do, right? Okay, so just cursing this picture, just pull it down, right? So the action is very different. Okay, so we see that what made these two different actions? Because of the two different emotional states, yes, no. What made the two different emotions? Are these two groups looking at the same object or different objects? Same object. Looking at the same object, but two different actions are coming out. One which is so nice and one which is a little rough. And what made these two different actions to come out? Because of the two different emotional states. One with the devotional state and one with the upset, the mind. And what made the two have two different emotional states? Because of the two different perceptions. You're getting it? You're getting it? Because of the two different perceptions. Which of the perception tallies with the reality? Which of the perception tallies with the object? Both or one or the other? Which of the perception? What's the reality out there? The Buddha or the demon? Object-wise, the object doesn't say that, oh, the group A came first, so I'm with their friend, I'll show Buddha. Group B, they came late, so I'll show you demons. The object, no bias. There's no change in the object. Object is just the same. But what is difference? Perception differs. And perception is the object or the subject? Perception taking place where? On your subject. So what we are seeing is just your perception. What we are seeing is just your perception, and we see that as from the object, not as a subject, right? What you are seeing is just your perception. Perception is subject or object? It's a subject. While your perception is just the subject, but you see that as from the object. And if I ask you, Group A, where's the picture of the Buddha? Right there. You will point to the screen. And I ask Group B, where are the pictures of the demons? You will say on the screen, right? You point to the screen. But on the screen, if it's a demon, it can't be the Buddha. If it is Buddha, it can't be the demons. So what you are seeing is just your perception. Your perceptions, both are correct because both are mere perception. If it is from the object, they cannot be two different things. If it is not a subject can be two different things. There's no problem. So therefore, the difference in the perception is a clear subjectivity. It's a pure subjective. You're getting it? Pure subjective. Subject means convention or ultimate. Subject means convention. When it is subjective, means it is purely conventional. Right? As opposed to convention is ultimate. Ultimate as opposed to subject is object. If it does exist objectively, then it becomes ultimate. Whereas when it's pure the perception, it is subjective. Subjective means conventional, right? So now, from this, do you get a little understanding that, say, the picture of the Buddha, what we are seeing as the Buddha is actually coming from my perception. From the object, there's nothing as a Buddha, right? Even the demons, again, there's one picture of the demon there, one dot there can be developed further. Even this demon is also made of millions of atoms, right? Now, the demon can be developed further, enlarged further, and the dots can be made of the Buddhas, dots in the form of the Buddhas. Now, from distance you will see as a demon, from close by you will see as a Buddha. So even the demon perception is also illusion, right? So we see that all what we are perceiving is just the mere perception from the object. Nothing really is there. It's all coming from the perception. Perception is subjective. Subjective is conventional. So therefore, anything that exists by the power of the convention. You're getting it? Okay, now tell me, anything that exists by the power of convention or ultimate? By the power of convention, from what we have learned thus far. Everything exists by the power of the convention. You getting it? Okay. Now let's say, this is very important. Everything exists conventionally. Don't forget it. Everything exists conventionally. Nothing exists ultimately. Don't forget it. Everything exists conventionally. Nothing exists ultimately. You getting it? Okay. Now, one thing I'd like to introduce to you is that say, okay, when you go to look for when you look at this flower, right? Okay, forget about all the philosophy that we've learned today. Forget all these things, look at the flower. How does the flower appear? Objectively or subjectively? Objectively. Ultimately or conventionally? How does it appear? This is not. I'm not expecting you to be great saints now, right? I'm expecting you as an ordinary person, right? Okay, including myself. Okay, how do you see this? As conventionally real or ultimately real? Ultimately real, objectively real. This meaning of the ultimately real. That is a error. That is a mistake. Okay. Now, you are looking for this. When you see this flower, as which of the two perceptions can trigger emotion of attachment or anger? Seeing the flower as objectively real, or seeing the flower as coming from your subject? See the flower as objectively real, then the attachment and anger can be arisen. For example, even if the flower is so beautiful, then if you simply mentally imagine a very beautiful flower, attachment is not there. Or a very drooping flower, aversion is not there. When you see a literally drooping flower there, you feel averse, right? Okay. Now, let's say, and how does the flower appear to you? Objectively, subjectively? Objectively. Ultimately or conventionally? As ultimately. Ultimately means objectively is the same. Okay. Now, you want to check whether the flower actually exists conventionally, ultimately, or objectively or subjectively, right? Okay. Now, you want to see, okay, I'm seeing this flower as so objectively real, so ultimately real. I want to see whether it is correct. Then, to see whether it is, then you start the analysis. You start the analysis. You think that the flower exists objectively or ultimately, right? Now, I'm saying that I'm constantly telling that flower exists subjectively. Now you want to see whether the flower actually exists objectively or ultimately, right? Now you want to look for the flower to see whether it exists objectively. Now tell me. Or to see the flower existing ultimately, right? Okay, tell me. What are you looking for? You are looking for a ultimately existent flower or objectively existent flower. Are you sure with this? Okay, what are you looking for? I'm looking for a ultimately existent flower or objectively existent flower. To see that the flower exists objectively, to see that the flower exists ultimately. This is what you're looking for, right? Now, to see whether the flower exists objectively, ultimately, which of the analysis should you apply? Ultimate analysis or conventional analysis? Ultimate analysis. Very good. Okay. Now, with this analysis, what are you looking for? You're looking for the ultimate flower or conventional flower? Ultimate flower. Now, what you are looking for is what the ultimate is, what the ultimate reality, what the ultimate, not the subjective, objective, what the ultimate nature of the flower is. This is what you're looking for. Ultimate nature is what you're looking for. You getting it? Okay, with this ultimate analysis, then if you do find something, hey, if you do find something, right, in this process you're looking for the ultimate nature of the flower, objective nature of the flower. You're looking for this. You're looking for the ultimate nature of the flower. And if you do find something, that should be the ultimate nature of the flower. Don't forget, this is so important. Now, if you understand this part, you are extremely, extremely meritorious. This is so precious. Right? Okay, what did I say? We are looking for the ultimately existent flower. We are checking if the ultimately existent flower is there. We are checking if the ultimate existent flower is there. Now, you go in search of that, to search whether it exists or not. Okay, so in this search, which kind of analysis should you employ? I should employ the ultimate analysis. With this ultimate analysis, if you do find something, that should be the ultimate nature of the flower. You're getting it? Okay. Point 1. What am I looking for? Question 1. Answer is, I'm looking for the ultimate objectively existent flower, or objective nature of the flower. Objective nature of the flower. Right? Now, in search of this objective nature of the flower, or the ultimate nature of the flower, in search of this, if I do find something, that should be the ultimate nature of the flower. You're getting it? Let me repeat this. This is very important. Okay. What am I searching? What am I checking? I'm searching or I'm checking if there is a objectively existent flower, or the objective nature of the flower. Objective nature of the flower, which means ultimate nature of the flower. Same. 1. Number 2. In search of this ultimate nature of the flower, if I do find something, that should be the ultimate nature of the flower. You're getting it? Okay, these 2 points, don't forget it. Don't forget it, these 2 points. Now with these 2 points, we go to search. We go to search for this ultimate nature of the flower. We go to search. And if you find anything, that should be the ultimate nature of the flower. Don't forget it, right? Okay. Okay, now, say, this hall is the hall of the convention, right? Everything which exists conventionally are all in this hall, and outside this hall is ultimate. Right? Everything that exists ultimately, they should be outside this hall. Everything that exists conventionally should exist in this hall. Everything that exists conventionally should exist in this hall. I'm giving the analogy. So this is the hall of the conventionality, and outside this hall is the space for the ultimate, right? Ultimate space and the conventional space. Okay, this room is the room of the conventionality, and the other one is the room of the space of the ultimate. Okay, now tell me, what did I tell you? What did I tell you to imagine? That this room is the room of conventionality, which means anything which exists conventionally. Anything which exists conventionally should exist where? In this room or outside this room? In this room. Don't forget it. Where's Singapore? Singapore, does it exist or not? Oh, where does it exist? Inside this room or outside this room? Inside this room. Right? Okay. Anything that exists conventionally should exist in this room. Okay, where is His Holiness the Dalai Lama? He exists. He should be in this room, right? Okay. Okay, where is the President Trump? He's also in this room, right? Okay, don't forget it. Now, you are interested to know what could be outside this hall, right? What could be outside this hall? You want to check what is outside this hall, right? You are inside this hall or outside this hall? You are inside this hall, and you want to know what is outside this hall. You are so curious. Okay, you are in what? You are in the domain of the conventionality. This room is the domain of conventionality, and outside is the domain of ultimate. Law of karma is where? Law of karma is inside this room, outside this room? Inside this room, law of karma, right? All contaminated things of suffering nature exist inside or outside? Inside. All composite things are impermanent, inside or outside? Inside, right? Now you are so interested to know what is outside this, right? Then you just peep through the window. Okay, what will you see? What will you discover? What will you discover? You will discover that nothing is there in this domain. Which domain? In the ultimate domain, nothing is there. Right? What did you discover? You discovered that in the ultimate domain. This is what? Conventional domain. Outside this room is ultimate domain. When you peep through, what are you looking for? You are looking into the ultimate domain or conventional domain? You are to look into the ultimate domain. In the ultimate domain, what did you find? Nothing. So what have you discovered? By peeping through this, nothing is there. Nothing is the meaning? Nothing is there ultimate, in the ultimate domain. In the ultimate domain, nothing is there. This is what you have discovered. Yes, no? What have you discovered? In the ultimate domain, nothing exists. In the objective domain, nothing exists. Objective domain, ultimate domain, same, right? Everything is the conventional domain, everything is the subjective domain. You getting it? Okay, what have you discovered? When you're peeping through the window, what have you discovered? You have discovered that nothing exists in the ultimate domain. This is what you've discovered. Now, in search of the ultimate, if you do find something, that should be the ultimate. Did you say this or not? Okay, there are the two premises which we laid down earlier. When we go in search of the ultimate nature of the flower, when we go in search of the ultimate nature of the flower, right, we employ ultimate analysis. One. Number two, in search of this ultimate nature of the flower, ultimate nature of the flower, if we do find something, that should be the ultimate nature of the flower. Yes, no? Okay, now peeping through the window, what have you discovered? In the ultimate domain, nothing is there. This is what you have found. Have you found something? Have you found something? Yes, you have found something. You have discovered. You have discovered something? What have you discovered? What you have discovered is what you have found. Yes, no? What you have discovered is what you have found. What have you found? I found that in the ultimate domain, nothing is there. This is what you have found. So what you have found is the ultimate nature of the flower. Right? That the flower does not exist ultimately is the ultimate nature of the flower. That the flower, you want to see what kind of flower exists outside this domain, right? Outside this room. Then you peep through the window to see the flower, you don't see any flower there. So in this ultimate domain, the flower is absent. That the flower is absent, the flower is empty in the ultimate domain is the ultimate reality of the flower. Okay, let's write this. That the flower is empty, that the flower is empty in the ultimate domain. That the flower is empty in the ultimate domain. That the flower is empty in the ultimate domain is the ultimate nature of the flower. That the flower is empty in the ultimate domain is the ultimate nature of the flower. Right? Okay, now, so when you are in this hall, when you are in this the room of the conventionality, what do you see? What do you see in this room of conventionality? What do you see? Everything is in this room. Everything in this room of the conventionality, right? And what is outside this room? Nothing is there, right? Nothing is there. In the ultimate domain, nothing is there. Okay, right? So once, during I think one of the retreats, no, not retreats, one of the classes on emptiness, we were discussing on this. And then one of the participants, during the break time, she came to me and Geshe-la, right? Usually she doesn't speak so much. She speaks only what is relevant. She suddenly came to me and said, Geshe-la. I said, why? What happened? She said, Geshe-la, what you said in the class is very true. What you said in the class is very true. I said, what did I say? Then she said that when I was in this room, whatever you said, I understand it. The moment I go out of the room, everything disappears. She said, it's very true. What you said is very true. In the classroom, whatever you said, is everything. I'm getting everything. The moment I'm out of this room, everything disappears. Okay, tea break. Lunch, sorry. Okay, lunch.